And when you're caught in the cycle, it's disorienting because they're not obviously cruel all the time. They mix charm with cruelty, guilt trips with affection, silence with smirks. That consistency, that's not by accident, it's a strategy. For some reason, personality disorders like narcissism have soared in the last few years. It's become an epidemic. People are researching the strange behaviors, but sometimes they find commonality in what research shows, but there seems to be more to the behavior than just admiration seeking. There's a mean and cold demeanor to them. And if that's your experience, you might want to stay with me here because today we're diving deep into the psychological shadows. The traits that don't just hurt people, but can destroy lives, relationships, and even entire communities if left unchecked. So hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And for those who don't know me, my name is Deanna King, and this channel is all top narcissism and codependency. And as usual, the reminder that if this video resonated with you, please click a like, comment if you feel pulled to do so, and subscribe if you want to see more content. And thank you. So today we're talking about the Dark Triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. This isn't just textbook psychology, and it isn't just in the movies or far away in the distant land. This is real life. These are the people that you date, that you work with, get love bombed by, get betrayed by. This is the person that you couldn't quite put your finger on, but always seemed to win while you were left picking up all the pieces. So let's get real about what you felt, what you've seen, and what's been done to you, because knowledge is power. And once you see it, well, you can't unsee it. Now, we all have flaws, we all have traits, but what separates these traits is their persistence, their destructiveness, and how deeply that they disregard the emotional experience of others. So let's take a look. I'm going to start with talking about each separate trait, and then we'll look at the person who has a combination of two of the traits and what that looks like, then the combination of all three put together. And you might be surprised at how this whole time you were thinking that the person in your life was just a narcissist. So here we go. What is the Dark Triad? The Dark Triad is a cluster of three personality traits. They're distinct, but they often overlap. And when they do, the result can be quite toxic. So we have narcissism, which is an inflated sense of self-importance, entitlement, and a craving for admiration. But underneath it, deep insecurity and shame. They always want to talk about their stuff, and they're bored when you talk. They aren't interested in the subjects of others. Machiavellianism. It's cold, calculated manipulation. The end justifies the means, meaning that they'll use unfair methods or tactics to attain their goal. Emotions are tools, people are pawns. Psychopathy. Coldness, impulsivity, and a lack of empathy or remorse. At the extreme, this is where conscience disappears. So let's go back here and go a little deeper. Let's start with narcissism. A narcissist is someone who needs to be seen as superior, not just wants. It's a need. It's how they survive in the world. They crave admiration, and they'll do whatever it takes to maintain the illusion that they are the smartest, kindest, most successful person in the room. But the key word here is illusion. Narcissists often have a false self, a mask that they wear to avoid confronting how empty or unworthy that they really feel inside. They're highly reactive to criticism, even the mild kind. I mean, have you ever witnessed someone blow up on you just because you suggested trying something a different way? That is narcissistic injury, that crack in the mirror that they're desperately trying to protect. Narcissists will love bomb you with flattery, then devalue you the moment that you don't mirror them back. They'll gaslight you into questioning your own reality. They turn every conversation back to themselves. They use others as supply, emotional resources to boost their fragile ego. It's not love, it's control disguised as charm. Machiavellianism. These people are planners, strategists. They aren't reactive like narcissists. They're deliberate. They don't necessarily need your admiration. They need your compliance. They'll say what you want to hear. They'll smile to your face and then twist the knife when you're not looking. They'll study your weaknesses, your dreams, your wounds, and then use them all to get what they want. Where the narcissist needs praise, the Machiavellian needs leverage. And common tactics include lying by omission, creating drama to divide and conquer, flattery used as currency, playing both sides of a conflict, and passive-aggressive sabotage. It's about winning at all cost. Psychopathy is the darkest of the three. Now, not all psychopaths are serial killers or criminals. A lot of them wear suits. Some are CEOs, some are partners, friends, or family members. But what defines psychopathy is lack of empathy, emotionally hollow, superficial emotions, impulsivity, and a tendency to take risks. They can watch someone suffer and feel absolutely nothing. Or worse, feel powerful because of it. We tend to believe that psychopaths are these horrible people that we see on crime shows, but they're all around us. They might mimic emotions because they've learned what looks normal, but inside, there's no remorse, there's no guilt, there's no conscience. Some of the signs of psychopathy include pathological lying, thrill-seeking at others' expense, cruelty masked as just joking, and an eerie calm in situations where most people would be upset. Where narcissists want attention and Machiavellians want control, psychopaths want domination, and they're often fearless in pursuit of it. Now, let's take a look at the soup mix when they all overlap. Here's where things get really dangerous. Some individuals don't have just one of these traits. They show up as a blend. The narcissist who also coldly calculates how to manipulate others, that is narcissism and Machiavellianism. The partner who constantly needs praise, the one who posts selfies with long captions about growth and humility, but behind closed doors, they're cold, calculating, and they keep score. They flatter you when it serves them, but also use your secrets against you if you ever challenge them. They don't explode, they shame. They'll pretend to be the perfect partner in public while manipulating conversations in private to make you question your worth. So you end up walking on eggshells, trying to earn back affection that they've strategically withheld. The charming partner who lies and twists things just to stay in control, that is a mix of psychopathy and Machiavellianism. These types don't seem to feel remorse. They lie easily, convincingly. And when caught, they don't apologize. Instead, they twist the story. If you wouldn't have gone through my phone, none of this would have happened. They stay calm while you're in tears. They don't raise their voice. They simply outmaneuver you. This isn't reactive abuse. It's a long game of domination played with precision. The person who is grandiose, manipulative, and remorseful, that is the full Dark Triad. This is the person who is grandiose, manipulative, and utterly remorseless. They start by love bombing you. They make you feel chosen, special, even spiritually connected. But slowly, they isolate you. They criticize your friends, subtly shame your choices, and create chaos that only they can solve. When you try to leave, they become cold, maybe threatening, or they beg, cry, and play the victim just to pull you back in. And none of this is about love. It's about control. It's about power. And when you're caught in the cycle, it's disorienting because they're not obviously cruel all the time. They mix charm with cruelty, guilt trips with affection, silence with smirks. That inconsistency, that's not by accident. It is a strategy. When these traits combine, you get someone who feels entitled to use you, has no guilt for hurting you, and is skilled enough to keep you hooked while they do it. And maybe the worst part, you might not see it because they're that good. You might not see it until you're already in deep. I mean, let's be honest here. Dark Triad personalities can be magnetic. They know how to read a room. They know how to appear confident, funny, sexy, successful. They know what you're hungry to hear, especially if you grew up around emotional neglect or inconsistency. They mirror your values. They study your language. They use your empathy against you. The more compassionate you are, the more they twist that into guilt, obligation, or confusion. And you might say, well, maybe I misunderstood. They had a rough childhood. They didn't mean it. That is cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is your mind's way of dealing with the stress that comes from holding two conflicting ideas or behaviors at the same time. So you rationalize something, but deep down, you know what they did was unacceptable. And the pattern doesn't change. And it doesn't change because the behavior isn't accidental, it's intentional, or at least indifferent. So what happens when you're entangled with someone like this? You begin to doubt your reality. You isolate yourself from people who see the truth. You blame yourself for the behavior. You ruminate trying to figure out what you did wrong. And if you stick around long enough, you lose parts of yourself, your confidence, your voice, your peace. Because dark triad personalities don't just harm you in obvious ways. They chip away at your identity until you start feeling like you're the problem. You are not. Dark triad personalities seek out empaths, people pleasers, trauma survivors, those who grew up in chaotic, unpredictable homes. Because if you learn to equate love with pain or inconsistency, their behavior might feel familiar. Not good, but known. You might have been conditioned to override your intuition, to stay loyal even when it hurts, to rationalize away cruelty as stress or a wounded inner child. But trauma bonding is not love. It's addiction to a pattern that once helped you survive. I'm not here to tell you to fix them because you can't. I'm here to tell you that you can heal yourself. You can start by naming what's happening. Knowledge breaks the spell. Setting boundaries, even small ones, are powerful. Listening to your body. Does this person make you feel calm or anxious? That's a clue. Reconnecting with people who remind you of who you are when you feel safe. And most of all, forgiving yourself for not seeing it sooner. So many of us have such self-hatred. This doesn't have to be a life sentence for you. Most people have walked through this kind of emotional fog and come out wiser, stronger, and more connected to their true self. You don't have to understand all of psychology to trust your gut. You don't have to diagnose someone to walk away from chaos, and you don't need permission to protect your peace. So, if you found clarity in this video, I do invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. And if you feel called, leave a comment. Tell your story. I would love to hear it. Your voice could be the light someone else needs in the dark. Stay aware, stay strong, and remember who you are. Take care, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.